Good afternoon, folks. Hi, Phil McPhail here again with United Country Lifestyle Properties Maine. Welcome back to the channel. Have you been dreaming about a hunting property up here in Maine with plenty of room to roam? A property with food plots, blinds, tree stands already in place, and with a history of producing some really nice whitetail deer and some huge black bear? Well, if that's what you're looking for, come along with me. Today, we're going to explore 152 acres of timberland out here in the town of Carroll Plantation. We've got a hunting blind, as you can see behind me, in place. We got a couple of food plots. We've got 3 ladder stands with trails already marked out and in place. We're going to see some brooks, some timber, a little bit of everything here that can attract deer. We're about 4.5 miles off of US Route 6, so you got ultimate privacy here at the end of this road. This road's called the Sheepskin Road. We're at the very end, and it's gated coming in here. So if you're looking for privacy, a hunting lot, this is a great one to come check out. Before we jump on the property, let's talk about the location here. We're in the town of Carroll Plantation. Carroll Plantation is a town here in eastern Maine on the Penobscot County and Washington County town line, or county line. Population of Carroll is about 138 according to the 2020 census. This is a pretty remote location, but it's fairly easy to access. We're about 8 miles from the town of Springfield, where you're going to find gasoline and some convenience items. We're about 27 miles from here to the town of Lincoln, and Lincoln's a bigger town with hospital, doctor's offices, car dealers, building supplies, restaurants, things to do outside of hunting. And then Bangor, we're about 78 miles kind of northeast of the city of Bangor, Maine. That's where Bangor International Airport is. So if you're coming here from out of state, it's your nearest commercial airport. The city of Portland, Maine's largest city, is about 250 miles from here, and that's about a 3-hour ride. And Boston, I believe, is like 318 to 320 miles, probably 4 hours and 40 minutes right to this location. One of the great features of this property already in place is this beautiful new 12-point hunting blind. And this thing is insulated in here for sound and for weather. Very nicely, easy sliding windows that are counterbalanced, very quiet. They got gaskets so they don't thump when they hit the bottom. It's all blacked out in here, tinted glass. This is raised up about 4.5, 5 feet off the ground, but a really nice blind in place. We've got shooting lanes here in 3 directions on 3 different mowed plots, one of them being the road coming in. But we've got clover planted in these other 2 fields. So this is a great place to start if you're a hunter. Before we jump onto the property and take a look around in the woods here and show you all the features of this property, don't forget, like and share this video, and please hit that subscription button down below. That really helps us know that you're watching and you like what we're producing for videos. So if you've been watching a long time, hit that subscription button, put on all notifications. You won't miss the next video that we put out. All right, we're gonna head down this food plot. I'm gonna show you one of the stand sites outside of the blind here. As we walk down, this is about almost 300 yards from the blind to the other end. I think it's 250 roughly, but might be a little more or less than that. But as you can see, this is a road that you can travel, but he has planted clover in here. In the past, he's put some oats in, and you're gonna check out the game camera shots that I've had, he sent me this year, that are just absolutely amazing. He's got moose in here, some nice deer showing up, some trophy black bear. Because of the remoteness of this area, and this area has a history of being pretty well known for its black bear hunting. Those of you who hunt, this is a great location for you to check out. We're gonna go up ahead here a little bit and show you one of the trails into one of the stands. Hey, this is the beginning of our first trail. I want to point out we got some hazelnuts growing in here. You don't see those a lot here in this area, but they're growing all through this trail. We're gonna walk in here. This has been recently bush hogged. There's so many trails on this property that you could open up if you wanted more. This has been working fine for him and his family for hunting, but with the old trails through here, we're gonna show you some of those that he hasn't improved. But let's walk in here. We're gonna about a 100-yard walk into the first stand site. Okay, we're up here on the first stand location. This is one of 3 two-person tree stands that are already in place with trails into them. They've all are in places they've seen game. And like anything else, folks, you can always do improvements here. It does need a little bit of trimming on some of the shooting lanes and the trails. They did like to hunt bear here, so they kept it really tight. But you can just see where you could open this up for 50 to 60 yards or further in almost every direction. You can see down the trail, we're coming in both directions here, and we've got an old trail directly across from us. This timber on this site, while I'm up here in this tree, let's talk about trees. The property here is 152 plus or minus acres. 148 of it is enrolled in the tree growth program, with 1 acre out of that 148 out of the system, so you can you can build on that with no penalty. There's 4 more acres that are connected to it that are completely out. The forest management plan, it's fairly recent. It's got quite a few years left on it. Shows the timber being about 16 to 17% hardwood, 16 to 17% softwood, and about 65% mixed wood. And within this whole area, I think we've got 3 acres non-forested and a couple of open wetlands. And these wetlands kind of make this a little island in the middle. So for those of you hunters out there, and I know I'm pitching this as a hunting lot, folks, because it is, and it's a good one, and it's in a good area for that, but you certainly could use it for homesteading or just an off-grid getaway. So we're gonna jump out of this tree and go show you the other 2. And while we're at it, we'll show you some of the timber along the way. All right, folks, while we're walking over to the next stand location, I might as well take this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the area here surrounding Carroll Plantation. If you're an outdoor enthusiast, you'll really appreciate the fact that we've got lakes in every direction here, some of the biggest and best in Maine. About 20 miles east of us here, you're going to come over to Vanceboro area and Danforth, and in between those 2 towns, we've got Spednick Lake and East Grand Lake, 2 of Maine's largest lakes. They are border lakes with the Canadian province of New Brunswick. Beautiful fishing in those lakes for lake trout, landlocked salmon, some of the best smallmouth bass fishing you'll ever experience. So those are within an hour's drive. 12 miles to our south, we've got Lakeville. And Lakeville is your headwaters to the West Grand Lake chain of lakes, which gives us Bottle Lake, Junior Lake, Scraggly Lake, West Grand Lake, Pecumpas Lake, Sisladobsis Lake, Upper Sisladobsis Lake. You got ATV trails accessible from this location. You can ride from here out to cross Route 6 on the Brown Road, head right down to Lakeville, jump on those trails. Snowmobile trails come right through this side of Carroll. If you wanted to ride in here in the wintertime, you could. The road is not going to be plowed. 4.5 miles in here probably won't be plowed at all, but you certainly could if you wanted to. If you want to live in here and you're up for that challenge of a lifestyle. What else do we have? We got hundreds of thousands of acres in this part of Maine that's in conservation land through a whole bunch of different networks of conservation groups. Most of it is open to the public for hunting and hiking and fishing and trail riding, outdoor recreation in general, which is a really nice thing that's been done here. Washington County and in this part of eastern Penobscot County, all that conservation land, and the stuff that's not in conservation, a lot of those landowners are large landowners that don't mind the public recreating on their properties. So, you know, if you're looking for a great place to do whatever sport you like to do outside, this is a great part of Maine to do it. One thing I wanted you to see for all you bow hunters out there, there's 2 apple trees right here. My client bought this property, didn't know they were here. I'll bet, I won't guarantee it, but I'll bet if you went back in the woods here, you probably find more of them. This is a very old town. It was settled many, hundreds of years ago, a couple hundred years ago. And like a lot of Maine, up in the hills is where everybody settled. They did their farming up here. If you're wondering why you're in the middle of the woods in Maine and all of a sudden you're seeing stone walls and apple trees, a lot of this land was farmed by people back in the 1800s. When the roads and the railroads all came in, they all started moving closer to transportation, which makes a lot of sense. But so you're going to be up here in the woods. We've got 2 apple trees here. I think I see another one back there in the woods. So it's prune these up, keep them healthy. The game love them. We're gonna walk down this other side. This is another food plot. We're gonna go in here a little ways, and I'm gonna show you another stand location that's been amazing for black bear. All right, we're down here off the edge of one of these trails, which is also doubles as a food plot. We're gonna walk down in here. This is the second of 3 tree stand sites that I'm gonna show you today. And this one actually is a great bear set. They got a little bit of a spring hole as we're walking in here. There's a potential year-round water source if you wanted to dig that out. But you can see in here, we're in a pretty dense forest. We got some nice red maple, spruce fir timber in here. And we've got a wetland where this is near the southern boundary. And folks, before I forget to tell you, for those of you who are interested in this property, we're putting together an interactive map that shows the trails, shows the stand location, shows you the road system, the location, the contour intervals, the wetlands, the stream beds, everything. So if you want to check this out in detail, don't forget, on our website, you will notice the land ID link, which is an incredible resource for you to understand what it is we're showing you. So don't forget, check that out on our website. So we're almost down to this tree stand, and the land kind of rolls away from us here to the south. And my client has seen a couple of really nice bear. His son tagged out a nice bear out of this site, and it's pretty easy to get in here quietly. And as we come up to this tree stand, they kept the bait here close. They were gonna bow hunt this. And then after my client's son saw the picture of the bear that was coming into this site, he decided he'd bring his 270 instead. May have been a good decision. But here's the second ladder, very much like the one we just were at. All set up, ready for you. It's brushed in up there, pretty well concealed. And then right down here, you can see where you got an opportunity for your bait sites. Anywhere you want them, probably any distance with a couple more clearings for your shooting lanes. But this is a nice little patch right here. Great little secret spot on the south end of this lot. We're walking over to the next stand location, and while we're doing that, let me tell you a little bit more about the land here. I checked on the NRCS soil mapping online and overlaid it here for your benefit onto the map that I was telling you about earlier. According to that web soil survey, we've got about 50% Plaisted and Dixmont loams in here. And those loams are really good for growing things, trees, crops, you name it. Some places will be rocky if they've never been farmed, so you'll have to deal with that. But if you want to expand the food plots, if you want to do an off-grid homestead, you got good soils in here. There are some wet soils around the wetlands, obviously, but up here in the uplands, it's really good. Our elevations here running between 600 and 660 feet above sea level. And like I said, with the mixed tree growth that's in here, just a real diverse lot. The wetlands kind of act on each side, the east and west side of the lot, as a funnel for game along those edges. So we're gonna start in here on the last of the 3 ladder stands. And this is another, it's been a bear location, but the deer have been showing up here a lot too. This is right next to a wetland we'll show you here in a minute. So we got a water source. We've got a little wetland that kind of acts as a funnel here along this edge. And this is a nice spot here. Well, you'd never know it was here unless I brought you into it, but it's kind of a secret spot along the edge of this wetland. So we'll walk in here a little farther and I'll show you that tree stand. All right, we're over here at the tree stand, and this one is well hidden. Actually, I just was in here earlier today and I had a hard time finding it. But this is another one of these 2-man stands, and it's well set up here. It's got this is the big game netting chairs. I really like these. These are really comfortable. So I got a pretty good view in 30 to 50 yards in 3 directions here. A little trimming off to my right. Be a beautiful spot too. So that's the last of the tree stands. We're going to take you out and show you that wetland next. All right, we're back out of that last ladder stand, which is about 70 yards from this location. What we have here is probably a couple acres of open water. This is a beaver flowage, small creeks running through the property. All these creeks on this lot are part of Tolman Brook, and they're the headwaters to Tolman Brook, and they kind of start up here on the woods on the top of this hill. But you can see this is a good place. You might find some waterfall here in the fall. You're certainly going to see moose, and as you see our game camera shots, there's lots of moose on here. There's deer, bear, but boy, there's a couple of really nice bull moose on this lot. This water feature, we're over here in the northeast quadrant of the land, kind of at the center, be the west side of the northeast quadrant, if that makes any sense to you. We're going to walk back up and show you some more timberland. All right, we're over here on the western side of the property. As we enter this lot from Sheepskin Road, this is the gate. We do have a pretty good sized gate here, all set on pressure treated post on one side and a steel cable on the other. If you're going to be looking at this property with anybody other than me, if you can hire a buyer's agent, whatever, make sure you give me a call so you can get in here. You won't be able to get in access without an agent with you. All right, folks, we're walking through we're over near the western side of the property right now, and I wanted you to see this stand here. This beautiful stand of maple in here. And a lot of these trees are pretty big. Like this one right here next to me is probably 13, 14 inches in diameter. Beautiful straight log tree. There's a lot of regen in here. Some of it, as you can see, we got some balsam fir growing underneath it, some birches growing in the understory. We got some more maple coming in. So it's not an even age forest. It's got some younger growth in it. Most of the smaller wood in here is the softwood. As we walk over here, you'll start seeing more. You got some younger balsam that have come up in the understory. But overall, the trees here are big enough now, even in the summertime with all the leaves on, we can walk through here without a whole bunch of brush busting us in the face. Now, the softwood areas that are heavy to softwood, that 16 to 17% I was talking about, those areas there, they're going to be hard to walk through. Very thick. In here, where we've got mostly hardwood with a very occasional like spruce over there that's probably 8 inches in diameter, another big spruce over there, but most of this is hardwood. So this is kind of typical of this lot, of what I've seen of it so far. You know, if you don't want to buy a property that's been commercially logged, you might want to check this one out. You know, a lot of people don't want to pay for standing timber, but there's value here. And whether it's your own personal firewood or if you're going to sell wood commercially, we've got some beautiful yellow birch in here, maple and other wood that's got some real value. So make sure you factor that into the equation when you're checking out lots for sale. Hey folks, as we drive on the Sheepskin Road to the property, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Carroll again. I know if you've ever driven through here, this town is known for its high hills. And there's a number of mountains that kind of run out through here, and they're not huge mountains. They're about 1,000-foot peaks. But if you've driven across Route 6 from Lincoln, Maine to Topsfield, Maine, you've gone right through Carroll Plantation and these beautiful hills. And a number of years ago, there was something that would have probably forever changed those hills that didn't happen. And if anybody knows what that is, the first one to share that in the comments down below, I'm going to send you a little gift package from my company to you. And if you are the lucky winner, I will let you know in the comments where to send your name and address so we can mail that to you. Hey folks, thanks for coming along on the tour of this property here on Sheepskin Road in the town of Carroll Plantation, 152 acres. Let me tell you all the details. We got an asking price on this property of $159,900. You've got the taxes and other info here, 152 acres, good soils, nice timber, food plots, 3 double man ladder stands, plus this beautiful brand new hunting blind, all set up in here for you for success in the field. This property may feel like it's out in the middle of nowhere, but we're only 4.5 miles in here on this single track road. It keeps out a lot of people that are curious because the road is good, passable, but it doesn't look like it gets a lot of use, so it will deter a lot of people from driving in here. And the property is posted at the gate and has been, so the locals are used to that. We're close to a lot of other outdoor recreation, all the lakes I told you about, the conservation lands for additional hunting opportunities or other recreational opportunities. Call me today, 800-286-6164. Schedule a time to come up here and look at this with me today.